All right, welcome to 6-5 on the road. We are here in Austin, Texas. I'm Cory Johnson, Lisa Martin.
Hey.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here too. Texas is known for its vibrant culture, its rich history, its thriving economy, all these things.
It's 1,000 degrees outside.
It is 1,000 degrees outside. And for Californians and humidity, not so fun. But what it's known for in the vibrancy, just everything reminds me of Zoho. When everything kicked off this morning, I got the exact same vibe.
Oh, so we got the perfect guest to talk to about that.
We do. We have back to the 6-5. We've got Sridhar Vembu, the CEO and co-founder of Zoho. Great to have you on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me here.
Left your keynote, as I mentioned before we went live. We attend a lot of conferences, Cory and I. We've lost count. And we hear a lot of CEOs. You really stood out to me this morning in terms of what you were talking about with conviction, philosophy, the employee morale being so incredibly critical to you because it all affects the customer experience. Mm-hmm. Share with our audience a little bit about the Zoho philosophy. I know that you really are a technology company. There's too much software being sold. We are a tech company, not a software company. Mm-hmm. Give us that background.
Yeah. So we are 28 years young now. Yeah. And we did have an office in San Jose. That's where it got started. So I bring it from there. And of course, on India as well. The unusual philosophy from the beginning has been that we want to focus on the long haul, retain employees long term so that we can serve customers long term, invest in our employees. So as one example, we have, through all the bubbles and bust and the pandemic, all that, we didn't lay off a single employee.
Amazing.
Really?
And our attrition rate is one of the lowest in the entire industry worldwide. Measured worldwide, we would have some of the lowest attrition.
What's your philosophy around that?
Yeah.
About your role as the employer and the creator of a product in a vibrant industry where there are ups and downs. What's your responsibility towards the employee?
Yeah. Think about, it's a cliche in business to say our people are the key source of value. All our assets are in the hands of our people. People admit that, but they are not acting like that's true. They turn around and treat people as expendable resources.
Right. The saying in Silicon Valley is hire slow and fire fast, which is, it sounds immoral to me, but
it is immoral. It is immoral.
Yeah.
And it's not just immoral. It's not even really good for business in a long-term sense. Because, ultimately the value is created from the brain and the context matters. How much do you learn? All of the improvements in technology come from your being in it, you're thinking about it, you're dealing with customers, all of it. So the longevity matters. If I'm there 10 years in a place, I learn so much, I can contribute a lot more, I invent better solutions, all of that. And then I can also spread that attitude to younger people who are coming on board, newer people. The continuity, all of that. Tech companies, particularly tech companies, lose all of that by this excessive churn. And that's where we have to remove this human resources language and treat people as people. So that's the philosophy here.
Well, the philosophy was very well represented on social media this morning. I saw a lot of your team just saying how proud they were to be here on the live stream, on X, on LinkedIn, and I think that really is reflected by the energy that's here. But speaking of newcomers, you asked the audience this morning, raise your hand if you're new. This is my first Zoholics. Yeah. So first of all, you had me with the name. I love it. But the fact that there's a lot of you're attracting a lot of new customers. Talk a little bit about that and how the philosophy that you just described really lends itself to that growth.
See, we sign up worldwide about 32,000 new customers, orgs, per month.
32,000 new per month?
New per month.
And you're at over 1 million users?
Yeah, actually more, about 750 org customers, about 100 million users. Yeah. So we count organizations as customers, and then there are users. Some of the users could be free users, but really the orgs are the paying customer base. That's about 750,000. Growing at about a very healthy clip, maybe we'll add about 100,000 new orgs this year. So that's the net new. That's how our numbers are right now.
So single digit, but high percentage rate growth in terms of customers.
Correct, exactly. And high percentage growth. And what is interesting about that, these customers, we have some of the lowest attrition in the industry. They stay with us. The customers stay with us. I attribute it to our employees staying with us, taking care of that customer, listening to them, understanding their problem.
So you pay a lot of attention to that net retention rate.
Exactly. We pay attention to the net retention rate. We pay attention to customer satisfaction. We invest heavily in support. In fact, we don't outsource support. It's our own employees doing it. And we are now investing in getting closer geographically. We are a cloud software company. Still, we are investing in regional expansion so that we can get closer to the customer.
Why do you think that makes you unique? You'll hear a lot, like I said, we go to so many conferences and have the opportunity to talk with a lot of business leaders, and they all talk about, what makes them unique. But you've got the metrics that actually demonstrate this is proof in the pudding.
Correct.
What do you think makes that so? For 28 years, and you've grown organically the entire time.
Never raised a single dollar of funding, external funding, ever. And we carry zero debt.
And I want to talk to you about that too, but no, please.
Yeah. So what is unique? It's all of this, all of the above. That how we take care of employees, how we avoid debt, how we are willing to sacrifice near-term growth in order to provide long-term value to the customer. For example, we never nickel and dime customers. As I said, we don't look at how do we cross-sell this, upsell this all the time. It's not always a salesy conversation with them.
Right.
How can we help you with this thing, with this problem you have? Along the way, there is an opportunity that they can purchase something that's good. But that's not all the time the overriding objective. Even our salespeople in particular, are happy here and they stay long term. And in most companies, sales turnover is very excessive.
Right.
I know that you'll tell me the advantages of being a private company at scale, which is so rare in technology.
Yeah.
What are the disadvantages?
Well, if I have to spend suddenly like $300 million on something, obviously I won't be able to raise the money. I have to find the internal resources. But increasingly, we are not limited by the capital availability because we are at a scale now that we can invest in this. But 10 years ago, that would have been true.
Well, what about employees who are used to Silicon Valley compensation and stock options and things like that?
Definitely that's an issue, but even in Silicon Valley, you think about the people who are coming post-IPO. They know the good days are over in a sense. The people who collected that fat paycheck or the stock and they cashed out and left. Then somebody else has to now
lose something in the process.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yes.
And not only that, these newer employees who never partook in all this, how to make good on the promises made to the customer.
Right, exactly. That's a great point.
Right? Think about it.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
original guys who made the promise collected their options and
Well,
left.
and there's these internal problems when you're sitting next to somebody who's driving a Maserati and you're coming to work in a Honda and you're
Correct.
doing the same job, or maybe they're not working as hard anymore.
And you know that you'll never make that money.
Yeah.
Another
That's a
thing,
moral problem.
Been
isn't it?
there.
Yeah.
right. Another thing that really struck me this morning, Sridhar, in your keynote was you talked about, and this isn't a new statement from you, we don't monetize your data. You mentioned that to customers, and you said privacy is a fundamental human right.
Yeah.
That really stood out to me because I don't hear, every company is a data company these days, and they have to monetize data
That is it.
to be profitable. How do you not do that and be as profitable as you are?
Yeah. So first, we look at it this way. We need enough profit to grow, pay our people well, all that. But beyond that, why do I have to keep obsessing about profit? That's the luxury I have of being private, right? There's enough, it's like how many lunches am I going to have today? How many cars do I need? So there's that attitude of enough, contentment. That's something, a fundamental virtue here. Then we can enjoy this work, enjoy taking care of customers, making reasonable money. There is reasonable money. It's not like, we are starving in poverty or something. We make reasonable money here. Just that we are not in this treadmill where every quarter we have to show this perpetual growth machine. Growth is good if it's happening organically. Customers tell other customers they're more coming. We have a lot of room for growth. Let's be clear. But we are not artificially pushing ourselves to grow at the expense of violating privacy, all of that. That treadmill is what makes them do it. I have to meet these numbers now. Make the numbers. How do I make the numbers? There's a temptation. That's what we avoid. That's the temptation we avoid.
I mean, one of your competitors, which is now growing at single digits after spending billions in acquisitions and almost never turning a profit, kind of said that the environment is what the environment is. You can't control a lot of the company. But when you're having to answer that quarterly call, it's a different thing. So you guys are making what seems to be like a really big product transition,
Right.
announcing it at this conference and talking about doing something that is more holistic in taking customers from point A to point Z, not just sort of being there at certain steps in that journey. And I wonder if the structure of your business has allowed you to make that big change in your product that you might not have been able to do otherwise.
Absolutely. So this, we call this CRM for every day. It's all of the other departments that are intrinsic to the customer experience, sales process, your legal team, contract reviewer, your purchasing team, or whatever, all of the people involved in sales, but not directly. The sales people will call on them, the project managers. They all can come together, still collaborate, and provide a beautiful customer experience, and this access to information, all of that is there for them. That's what we launched today. It's only possible, but we are building because we are building all of those tools, the collaboration tools, and the documentation. Then all of it now become part of that CRM workflow.
Extended CRM. You grow within existing customers to put more seats without having to sell new companies.
Correct. And these we monetize very lightly. That means that those customers in project management or legal department, they don't pay as much for the CRM as the CRM people, salespeople do. In other words, this is a primary system of record for salespeople. For other people, it's something that they collaborate with sales to get something done. So we price it accordingly. That's again that part of don't be greedy. What on this company?
Well, what you announced today on the collaboration front was CRM for everyone. It really is democratizing CRM across organizations. So when organizations say we need to work cross-functionally, there's so many that come to Zoho that we're siloed. How do we unsilo and actually connect everyone with context, leverage emerging technologies like AI to deliver an exceptional customer experience and obviously an exceptional employee experience, which helps drive that?
Correct. That's the exact idea. Democratizing access to that information, create a collaborative environment so that your effectiveness as an employee in legal department or whatever gets improved. Because ultimately, everybody in the private sector has to make a sale somewhere. Otherwise, we don't get our paychecks.
Always
right?
be closing.
Always be closing. That's true for everyone. But I see it as a good thing. It's just that we have to create an environment where that happens seamlessly, automatically. That's the whole idea of democratizing CRM.
Do you have a favorite customer story? I know there's a lot of customers here. We've got some on the program. I always love when I hear customer stories that really articulate the challenges that they had, why they chose Zoho, what was it about the solution and the flexibility and the strategy that really aligned with them? And then what are those like business metrics, outcomes, real tangible numbers and things? Do you have a favorite customer story that you think really articulates what you've built over the last 28 years?
Yeah, there is this, we have a customer with about 700 employees. They're all on Zoho One. They're using about 330 of our apps across the organization. And they would say the entire business now runs on Zoho, their entire business, end to end. And for them, it's sort of, they're there in every event. Even in this event, they're there. They've become part of our customer advocacy group. It's a company called Pyrolite. They're in the water treatment business. And that's an example of a customer where the entire business runs on Zoho. And that's, as they expand, Zoho has become an enabler of that expansion too. So that's what we love hearing these. And we now go to them for, hey, how can we help you better? In this case, we won't make an additional sale. They already bought the whole suite.
Right.
But we still want to improve the product for them.
Are they helping with R&D?
Yes, they're helping us, helping drive ideas. Hey, we are using these things. You need to improve this process. You need to improve that.
Well,
that's how they help us.
And maybe as a final,
and it helps other customers too.
And maybe as a final question, I don't want you to gloss over that. You treat your customers in a different way in that when they're a customer, they have access to every product under your umbrella. Whereas some of your competitors they might count the seats, but they'll only let those seats have access to certain things until they pay more.
Yeah, that's very important for us because again, it's part of, like I may need 4 tools today. And in a contextual, I have to sign some documents. I may need access to a signature tool. And then the next day I may need access to this. All of these are very contextual. I need this for now. I'm not a regular user of that product. It's very common in business.
Yep.
Yeah.
You need access to something.
Yeah.
That's why we built the suite. That exact thing now can be legitimized. You have access to everything at a very reasonable price. So you can use as much or as little as you want of all this. And as the need arises. That's why we wanted to do that.
And I understand pricing transparency is also critical to Zoho's philosophy. It's always really been transparent with customers.
All our prices are posted. And so you know what the price is. And that's important to us so that there is no, there's no like secret sales magic where some customer gets charged a very high price because they don't know. That never happens here.
That's fantastic. What a great culture that you built. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, great stuff. We'll be back with more 6-5 from the Zohos. I'm 6-5 on the road
Thank you.
here in Austin at the Zoholics conference. More coming up right after this.